So this is Zhang Ziyu. If I mispronounced her name, I do apologize. But Zhang Ziyu is a 7 foot, somewhere between 7'3" and 7'5". We don't know exactly the height, but somewhere between 7'3", 7'5", 17-year-old from China, who can actually play ball a little bit. And she's been playing in the Asian Championships the last couple of weeks. And we're going to talk about just how dangerous she can be as a player. Before we get on to it, if you guys are new to the channel, subscribe. We're trying to hit 16.2 thousand by the end of the day, and we're 94 off. But Zhang Ziyu, in the Asia Cup, she averaged 35 points and 13 boards a game. 35 and 13. She had 36 in 23 minutes against New Zealand. She had 44 in 26 minutes against Japan. She had 19 in 13 minutes, a 9 of 9 from the field. And in the semi-final, she had 34 points in 22 minutes. Australia held her to 36 points. Or, 50% shooting from the field. And if you watch that game, half the time she missed, she caught her own rebound. I wish FIBA are very, very strict with showing footage. I wish I could show a bit more footage here. But again, you can see, she had 10 offensive boards against Australia. Did they win the whole competition? No, they didn't. They did not win the competition. But obviously, Zhang Ziyu earns MVP. And by the way, you see her in the middle. You see her right there in the middle. That is a player by the name of... Saffron Shields, a baller as well. Lara Somfai. 6 points in the final. She was a center for Australia. She averaged 17.6 points. Do you know how good Lara Somfai is? She is seen as one of the best young players in the world. She's down, like you can see here, going to either Duke, Stanford, or UCONN. UConn are looking for her. She is one of the best young players in the world. She plays at the IMG Academy. Like, genuinely, this is hooping for the #1 AAU team. Lara Somfai down to 3. And people want her to go to UConn. She is one of the best players in the world her age. She was held to 6 points on Zhang Ziyu. And Zhang Ziyu, in this game, had 40. Obviously, Saffron Shields balled out. She balled out in this game. Australia were winning. She had 42 dropped on her in 26 minutes. And do you guys know, if you guys don't know about this game, I wish I could scroll. This is a 17-point win. In the 26 minutes that Zhang Ziyu played, they were +6. They were +6 in the 26 minutes. So in the 14 minutes when she was not on the floor, they were like -23 in 14 minutes. They were getting killed. The only way they were able, the Australian team, who are one of the best teams in the world, by the way, who are one of the best teams in the world, the only way they were able to score on her was by running the break. That was the only way they were able to do it. They were running the break. When they weren't running the break, they could not do anything. And again, you have got a team with Saffron Shields, who is a WNBA, borderline WNBA level player. She could well be a future WNBA player. Lara Somfai definitely is going to be a WNBA player. And this is a team that had 40 points dropped on them by Zhang Ziyu. She's that dominant. And it's not like in the other games against weak opponents, you can just say, oh, she's like the opponent she's playing against. And this is 7-3 without shoes. So the opponents she's playing against just aren't great. You can't say that about Australia. Now, you can't say that about Australia. Australia is one of the best basketball countries in the world. You cannot say that you're coming up against weak competition ever coming up against Australia. And she goes and has, in 20-something minutes, 40 points and is plus on the court. And that was the biggest deal with that. For me, that was the biggest thing. Like, is that they were plus when she was on the floor. It's not like they were struggling. And also, she was literally their press breaker. If you watch the game, Zhang Ziyu was the press breaker for China. She literally stood at the, like, 3-point line, and they could not beat Australia's press when she was off the floor. She was their press breaker. They just launched it high to her. She caught the ball and threw the ball to someone else. Like, she is not the best finisher, but she's coordinated. And look, she's very, very slow up and down the court. But she's not slow for the equivalent of being if her height in men, if she was a man, she'd be the equivalent of being 8 foot tall. 8 foot tall. She moves better than any 8 foot tall man I've ever seen. And also, she's talking about how the fact that she wants to go to WNBA. I just want to see what the eligibility requirements for international players. Because obviously, there is, for US players, you have to be in college. Or 22. But I don't know what the requirement. It says here you must be 20 years old in the year the draft takes place. So she's eligible. So even though she's only 17, she's just turned 17. She's eligible for the 2027 WNBA draft. She's eligible for the draft then. She doesn't have to go to college. She doesn't have to go. Like, if she sets foot in college, I'm pretty sure like, she might have to, she might have to go and play the whole 4 years in college. I don't know how it works. But if she doesn't play in college, she's eligible to be drafted in 3 years' time. And look, I get it. The WNBA is a slow-down league. So maybe the Indiana Fever are going to change everything by this run-and-gun style of basketball. Maybe they're going to change everything by just running and outgunning teams by 2027. But the reality of this is that she's going to be unguardable. If you got a good coach, even towards the end, like, she was turning and shooting better. She wasn't doing by the end of the tournament, she wasn't doing the whole thing where she brings the ball down to shoot the ball. She was killing it. And again, 42 points and +6 on the floor against a real good Australia team. She's going to be one of the best. As you can see, Lara Sumfai is 6'4". She is 6'4". If you're wondering, she is the same height as Asia Wilson. She's the same height as Asia Wilson. And you've now got Zhang Ziyu. I'm telling you, this is a future number 1 overall pick. You can't. I'm sorry, you can't not take her number 1 in 3 years' time. You can't not take her number 1. And again, a real good Australia team. A really good Australia team. Sumfai was trying to guard her and was held to 6 points. It's crazy because she actually has some ball ability. And the lack of athleticism isn't as big a deal in the women's game as it is in the men's game.